So I'm gonna take you over. We'll go look at our what's called pullets. All the time we have our eggs that have like either an XL or a J, and people are like, well, what's the J for? It's for jumbo. So we have XL, large, medium, and then we have a P on them, and everybody always asks, and we actually have a little sign that says P is for pullet egg. So a pullet egg is the first eggs that a young hen starts to lay because they're small. They're smaller than a medium egg, so you can imagine that they're tiny, but they are so rich and delicious, just beautiful, beautiful eggs. So we'll go through a period now. We have around 800 chickens that are pullets at the farm now, and they're just starting to lay. So we can go check in some nest boxes and see if we can find any eggs. It's kind of a fun time for these chickens to start laying. This is not an ideal situation, only because we just had 2 feet of snow. Chickens fare the worst out of the snow because they don't like to go out, but we had to clean this whole area up with our tractors and our buckets and come in and scoop as much of the snow away as possible so the chickens are comfortable going outside. The ladies in here are the pullets. They are fortunate because they're in this really big turkey hut. They don't necessarily have to go outside to be able to get their food and their water, whereas our other chickens in the coops that you saw over there, basically they got to come out of the coop. So that day of the snowstorm, we ended up just putting water in there so they could at least have water. And then by the next day, once the storm calmed down, they were able to come out and eat. So let's go in, we'll go check in some nest boxes and see if there's any eggs. Like I said, we're getting a handful of eggs, maybe 2, 3 a day. You can see how beautiful they look. They got their full tails, they're beautiful birds, and we'll go see what they're doing. So these guys are, like I mentioned, these are pullets. So pullets means that they're basically about ready to lay. So you're gonna have some, the Americanas, 2 weeks younger, then they were hatched 2 weeks later than the majority of these birds in here. But we're starting to get a handful of eggs a day. Clearly not in full production yet, but as soon as they start, we're gonna be inundated with eggs, which is a good thing on the farm because we use them all in the kitchen and everything else. But they're probably around 18 weeks right now, 19 weeks. Chickens will start laying in between 17 and 20 weeks. So it's, anytime during that time frame is when you're gonna start to get eggs. Now what we do is we actually switch from a 19% broiler feed to right now we're giving an 18% layer feed. And the biggest difference is 1% of protein. That's not huge, but in the layer feed, they actually add calcium and oyster shells for the shells of the eggs. So they don't need that before they're ready to lay, but now that they're starting to lay, we add that extra calcium in there so it goes to the shells so they get nice, hard, firm shells. That's a necessity for all laying hens. You always got to give them some form. Our feed has it in there, and then we also give supplemental oyster shells too if they want it. Yeah, so we don't integrate our pullets with our mature hens. These guys are 1 and 2 years old right here. So the pullets are too small and they're too new. So what we don't want to do is move them in with the mature birds yet, because there'll be some dominance plays, there'll be roosters fighting, there'll be everything. But what we'll end up doing is once the weather breaks and we're going to get these coops out, we'll do that at like nighttime and get everybody in the coop so that when they wake up in the morning, they're just new residents and they don't have anybody to fight because they really don't know what's going on. So we try and confuse them in that way. And then for the most part, everybody then lives together. And we do need to build another coop this year because of the number of birds that we have.